midshipmen. Come the Rutgers Scarlet Knights. Navy Marine Corps Memorial Stadium, Annapolis, Maryland, the site of the 25th meeting of Rutgers and Navy, a series begun all the way back in 1891. And a pleasant good afternoon, everybody. I'm John Sadak alongside the College Football Hall of Famer in Randy Cross. Rutgers finds itself in a power conference yet again. First year in the Big Ten, but don't look past this Navy team. One of the best Navy squads we've seen in a while.
Absolutely. I think it's the best team that Ken Niumatalolo has ever had here at Navy in his 7 years, and he's got the best quarterback in Keenan Reynolds that Navy's ever had.
And Keenan Reynolds, a little banged up last week, did not play. First time in 15 years of playing football, he missed. Tago Smith filled in well, but Keenan Reynolds, he's the man that makes him go.
Yeah, and unless this kid, unless you see bone or blood, he's coming out. He's playing, and he's not done. He's just only got about a year and 3 quarters to write in his legacy here at Navy. Scores touchdowns, it seems, at will. Unbelievable reader of defenses when it comes to this triple option offense. He's really a master to watch.
For the squeamish like me, I don't want to see bone or blood today, but we'll work on that. We've seen highs and lows though for Gary Nova in just 3 games with this Rutgers team.
Yeah, you really have it. And if you want to do Gary Nova some favors, and if you're Ralph Friedgen, the offensive coordinator of Rutgers, you want to run the ball a little more maybe than your 50-50 normal option, but then you're going to look at play action with him. Give him some easy completions. Let him get the 5 interception game from last week completely out of his mind.
Let's go down to the field and check in with the third member of our crew. She and Stanward Bird standing by with Navy head coach Ken Niumatalolo.
Thanks, John. Coach, it's been a question mark all week long whether Keenan would play today because of his knee. What did you see over the last couple of days that made you feel confident to start him?
He had a couple good days of practice. He warmed up well. You know, the kids played a ton of games for us, so we feel good.
Navy as a program has had great success over schools from a Power 5 conference. What can you attribute that to?
Our players. I mean, they work hard. They're great kids, and they come to battle every game.
Thanks, Coach. Best of luck. Well, guys, today Navy's going after its 22nd win against a school from the Power 5. Pretty impressive. John?
Well, that it is. That's the most wins for any non-Power 5 team since 2003. Kyle Flood in year 3 with Rutgers led the Scarlet Knights to bowl games in back-to-back of his first 2 seasons, the first man in program history to do that. The weather outstanding, 76 degrees, winds at 8 miles per hour, sunny conditions.
Good football weather. Contrary to popular opinion, this is football weather.
Not the freezing cold?
Nope, no thank you. We can run any offense in this weather.
There's a side of some of the pretty scenes here at a stadium that sits 34,000. They're expecting a rather flush crowd today.
Pretty good number of Rutgers fans here in attendance.
Only about a 3-hour journey from Piscataway to head on down the 95 corridor and journey into Annapolis. Navy won the toss, elected to defer. So Austin Grebe on the kick, and here's the return for the Rutgers Scarlet Knights. And not much there. Brandon Jones on the tackle. As it's time now for the Chick-fil-A starting lineups. Gary Nova. He is the maestro. He led the Big Ten in quarterback efficiency through the first 2 games of this season, and then that disastrous outing against Penn State. So on the ground, Paul James, the ball down. Navy says it has it. A fumble on the first play of the game. Jordan Drake knocked it free, and Navy forces a turnover and gains short field at the 25-yard line.
Watch the linebackers come in at the ball. Drake right there. Puts his head on the ball. 43, Drake right on the ball. That knocks that ball out of James's hands, and that sets the midshipman up in great field position.
So here is the Navy offense. And there is Keenan Reynolds. The junior leads the team in rushes, even though he did not play last week. Williams-Jenkins on the edge. Gets about 5. Dre Boggs, the corner on the tackle. Let's check the Chick-fil-A starting lineups. The Navy midshipman, Keenan Reynolds, a decorated career to this point.
A true dual threat quarterback, though. He wears 18 for a reason. Idolizes a quarterback. I mean, he's a guy that loves Peyton Manning. He thinks Peyton Manning is the man as far as quarterbacks go.
Toss out on the edge. The leap to the end zone. Touchdown. Joffrey Whiteside, the senior out of Columbus, Ohio.
This is called outflanking him with just speed. Quick option to the fullback. You've already got the back in motion. Beautiful flip there. Did he step out of bounds? Yes, he's out of bounds before that ball is reached over. I think they're going to have to review this and end up bringing it back to about the 2-yard line.
Celebratory scene for the midshipmen, but John O'Neill has called for an official timeout of the field, our referee. And he has trekked over to don the headset and communicate with replay official Steve McBride. There's a look at O'Neill in the white hat.
And if there is an advantage, it is the speed on the outside of this Navy running crew. But right there, that left foot out of bounds, and the ball is short of the goal line, short of the pylon. That's absolutely, that ball will be spotted right about there. So his foot is out there, and the ball is about at the 1-yard line when he goes out of bounds.
The length of the replay here determining the exact nature of the spot. More than anything else, it seems pretty apparent.
Usually they'll get it right.
After further review, the runner stepped out at the 1-yard line. It'll be 1st and goal at the 1-yard line for Navy. Ball be placed on the right hash.
There you go. So now you've got a down and goal situation from the 1 that should be a gimme for a team like Navy, but Navy's had some red zone troubles early in the year.
Well, you get Coach Flood and Rutgers. They know very well. They historically have game planned this offense very well. You worry about one thing in these situations. It's not the fullback. It's the quarterback on 1st and 1 or down here by the goal line. The quarterback kills you the most with short touchdown runs in this offense.
So the midshipmen, only a minute and change into the game. 1 yard needed for a score thanks to a short field from a turnover. Reynolds on the keeper. Touchdown. 11th straight game with a rushing touchdown for Keenan Reynolds.
Right behind this experienced offensive line, Tanner Fleming, the center, gets great action off the ball. They never fill that gap through the center in the double team, then rubbing off on the linebacker, and Reynolds just follows him right into the end zone.
I guess any concerns about injury have been answered rather early.
He's feeling pretty good.
To the point after from Nick Sloan, and the kick good. A perfect 12 for 12 on extra points. All set up by the turnover. Paul James put it on the ground. The helmet got in there from Drake. And Keenan Reynolds makes him pay. 25 yards in 1 minute, already 7-zip Navy. And company with the lead over Rutgers as we take a look at today's TrueCar keys to success. And already it's paid some dividends here.
For Rutgers on defense, do your job against the option. Be smart with the ball. Rutgers offense for Navy close to perfect. That refers to their offense as far as penalties and whatnot. And first tackler. In this defense for Navy, the first tackler is critical. He doesn't have to make the tackle. He's got to slow him down. He's got to grab, and he's got to be there for the other guys to rally. You've already seen Drake as the first tackler knock that ball loose.
We've seen turnovers a problem for Rutgers this year. -2 entering the day, 95th in the country. Give the ball up a short field and a score that has Keenan Reynolds second all-time at Navy behind Ricky Dobbs in rushing TDs. Austin Greavy's kick in the air. Janarian Grant out of the rear third of the end zone takes a bent knee. Let's take a look at the Rutgers Scarlet Knights full offensive lineup. Who jumps out to you, Randy?
I like Rutgers' tight end. I think against this, Croft can be a huge tool, especially in the middle of the field, to open up the single one-on-one coverages on the outside.
We've already seen James put it on the ground. Croft, though, last year led this team in catches and yardage. He was an honorable mention All-American.
And all their tight ends are about the same size, about 6'6", 6'5", and about 240 pounds. So they can catch and they can go.
Desmond Peoples is in at running back instead of Paul James. Design screen. Out the flat. Grant goes down just about immediately thanks to Brendan Clements. He's the best cover man and a loss of about a yard.
And again, it's back to that theory I was telling you about with the first tackler. Navy gets a chance to do it. Any of these service academies, they need the first tackler to be effective. They get isolated so much because they're spread out against some of these offenses. The first guy has to make a real impact.
Peoples again, the deep man with his offset on. 2nd and 11. Peoples with a big hole. Tackled at the 30. Gain of about 6. Brought down by Parrish Gaines, the free safety. He's the man who spearheads the back end of the Navy defense. It's a 3-man front. You love the big guy in the middle, Bernard Sarah.
Yeah, I really do. I think he, against a team like this that's physical and likes to run the ball, he's got to be a dominant feature in this defense of taking care of that area between the tackles.
3rd and 5. Rutgers on 3rd down, 38% successful. That's 87th in the country. Navy only allowing 32% success. Nova on the flat for Peoples, and Peoples stretches to right around the marker, around the 35. Quincy Adams on the tackle, and he looks to be eyeballing it a little short.
About a length of a football short.
That's a big hold. And it's special teams time for Rutgers as they send on a different punter in Tim Gleason.
And that's a good example of why this tackling for a team like Navy is so important. If you don't tackle well, you give up those first downs.
Tackling was not a strength for Navy in the win against Texas State. It's Tim Gleason's boot sailing to Parrish Gaines from his own 21. Takes the harm. No chance to run that one back. We'll step aside. Navy has the ball and the lead. 7-0 Midshipmen. When Navy and Rutgers last met, it was 2011. Gary Nova threw a 20-yard touchdown to Tim Wright. Rutgers took a 21-17 lead in the 4th, under 5 to play. John Teague's 34-yard field goal blocked by Kasim Green. And Rutgers, Greg Schiano and company celebrating a 1-point triumph. Let's take a look at the history between Rutgers and Navy, brought to you by Bud Light. What will happen next? They first met back in 1891. It's a narrow edge to Rutgers in the all-time series, but the Scarlet Knights have won 4 of the last 5. Navy has won the first few minutes of this game, leading 7-0. First play of this drive for Keenan Reynolds and company. Reynolds keeps. Knocked out at around the 28, gain of about 7.
Nice little grab on a bad snap, huh? Ball's high and right. Just traps it with his right hand. Still stays in that pistol look with the backs behind him. runs just a regular quarterback keep off the edge, but no ill effects so far can be seen by that knee. Reynolds running strong.
DeLon Stevenson had that tackle. We'll see this quite a bit in the long looks to the sideline. Second and 3, Noah Copeland bullying his way to about the 31.5. That could be a first down. Kenneth Kirksey on the tackle. That is good for a 1st and 10. Here's the rest of the Navy offensive look. Jake Zuzik, the right guard, senior out of Brookhaven, Pennsylvania.
Yeah, he was a big part of that last first down there. Zuzik, he is big, he's strong, he's physical, and he's a lot quicker now, losing 20 pounds, so they can use him pulling a little bit more.
He used to be the strongest man of the team. He told us he cedes that to Bernard Sarah, the nose guard on defense these days. Chris Swain into the game at the fullback spot. And he gets the ball. The subtle Keenan Reynolds movement. And that's good for a first down. A gain of more than 10. Quentin Gauze on the tackle.
Yeah, that's just the whole middle of the offensive line here. Look at the great job that they do handling this Rutgers defense. You double down, you come off on the linebacker. He doesn't get any better than that. If you can get that kind of pound on that nose tackle and then come up and bounce like Ben did, the guard, that's the perfect execution of a combo block.
The 43. Swain again, this time to about the 46. Darius Hamilton. Man who's drawn some comparison to Aaron Donald of Pitt fame. Got the tackle.
Very, very quick. You know, that's why he's 6'4", about 250. He can get in that 3 technique outside the guard's shoulder and really wreak havoc coming up the field.
Quentin Singleton now into the fullback spot. He gets the ball. He has the first down into Rutgers territory. Knocked down at the 41 by Quentin Gauze, the Sam linebacker yet again. That's a gain of 13.
Concentrate on that inside 3 again. Tanner Fleming, good job. Ben gets another really nice block. Both times he's come off on Quentin Gauze and basically knocked him out of the play. It's incumbent upon Gauze to get across that blocker's face so he can be there for the tackle.
Timeout called by Rutgers. Navy's gone for 7, 11, 3, and 13 on this drive, leading 7-zip. Let's get in the Wayback Machine. Army-Navy 2002, East Rutherford, New Jersey. This is the first of the streak in the series as Craig Candido ran for 6 TDs. Navy scored touchdowns on 8 straight possessions to open the game. The first of 12 straight wins to date by Navy over Army, a final of 58-12. We remind you, only 84 days to go in the countdown to America's game. The Army-Navy game presented by USAA, only on CBS Sports. And worth noting that Mr. Candido, later a Navy fighter pilot, now in year 2 as a head coach, following in the footsteps of Ken Niumatalolo. Paul Johnson was the head coach at Navy back then. Candido at Division III Capital entered play today 1-0. I'll give you one guess what offense they run.
Maybe triple option.
That would be good.
Yeah. Kind of an expanded triple option. This right here, look at this alignment. This is like pistol.
Quentin Singleton, the deep man of that fullback slot. Keenan Reynolds already has 1 touchdown on the ground today. Play clock winding down.
Charge timeout, Navy. Their first timeout.
So Navy calls timeout. Rutgers had just called one as well. 7-0 Navy, still in the first quarter. Navy taking on a Rutgers team that's still reeling from an emotional loss, the first Big Ten contest for the Scarlet Knights. Last weekend in that inaugural action, a huge crowd on hand at Piscataway. 1:13 to go. Bill Benton from New Jersey, a 5-yard run. Penn State took a 13-10 lead, and then Gary Nova intercepted by Ryan Kessler, the 5th pick of the game for Gary Nova. Penn State escapes a 13-10 final. Difficult for Kyle Flood, who talked about the maturation of his team.
You turn the ball over that many times and you still only lose by 3.
On the ground to the 39.
If you're a Rutgers fan, you've got to know you're a pretty doggone good football team going against Penn State. Turn it over 5 times and still only lose by a field goal. So the needle's still pointing upwards for Rutgers.
And the coaching staff was quick to point out, you saw it as well when we talked about that game, those 5 picks are not all on Gary Nolan.
No, I mean 2 of them were flat tips. That's what gets lost in the wash sometimes. There were 3 that he owns, so they're all his.
2nd and 8. Only 1 deep man for the Scarlet Knights. Many bunch near the box. Pass play on the slant, caught at the 32, a twirl by Jameer Tillman, and he's got a first down. The Rutgers 29, Garif Glashin, the quarterback, stopped him.
Now, if you're just seeing this option quarterback, Keenan Reynolds, for the first time, you're seeing what makes him so special. He makes the decisions, he can run with the ball, and he can be extremely accurate. Most option quarterbacks couldn't shot put the ball like that, much less throw it like that.
Spoken by a man who's done the shot put in the past.
And been in a couple option offenses, too.
Down Knight here. Let's take a look and see what transpired. Ooh, friendly fire there.
Yeah, a little knee into the front of the, little shoulder into the front of the knee. Hyperextending his left knee.
Well, Steve Longa making contact with Lorenzo Waters. 7-0. Navy's got the lead. Stevenson just helped off the field as we meet the entire starting lineup for the Rutgers Scarlet Knights. A different look, though, because they go with 3 safeties.
3 safeties instead of 2 linebackers. Now we have Chaffee in there at safety, a former corner. That gives them better speed on the outside. They can stop them inside and talk about the pitch on the outside for the corners.
There you see Stevenson, who won the free safety job in a summer camp battle. He had 9 tackles in the Washington State game to begin the year. Reynolds keeps it. Takes some contact at around the 28. That's a gain of about 1. 2nd and 9. Kenneth Kirksey, the senior out of Daytona Beach, Florida, on the tackle.
And traditionally, this Rutgers defense has a heck of a record stopping this Navy offense. Navy has been if not one of the top 2 or 3 offenses in the country running the ball. And over the last several meetings, Rutgers has really done a great job of slowing this triple option down.
Under center, Reynolds looking to throw. Pump. On the edge. Looking deeper. Incomplete. Intended for Thomas Wilson, the junior out of Bradenburg, Kentucky. This Rutgers defense, though, has had such outstanding success against Navy over the years. Here are the numbers. The average nearly 120 yards per game less.
Now in 2011, Navy had the number 4 rushing attack. All the other years, number 1 in the country. And they held them back that way. And it's made a huge difference. And I think a lot of it is that safety coming in instead of a linebacker, but also the repetition they give it in spring and summer. Every single day of practice, they work against the option.
Reynolds over the middle, caught at the 25. Brendan Dudek taken down by Garif Glashin.
And it's a smart move by the Rutgers defense, too, because when you get in a game situation like this against a team like Navy, you're worried about this passing game. But what can really get you, what can really gash you, is the running game, especially the surprises and the blown assignments.
Nick Sloan hit from 41 against Air Force in 2012. This one from 40. Kick on the way. And that kick is no good. His 3rd miss in 5 tries. He missed from 36 against Ohio State, 43 against Temple. And the junior out of San Diego misses from 40 here against Rutgers.
And the snap looked fine. The hold was pretty good, and he just got a little draw/hook tug on that thing, missing it left.
Nick Sloan, condolences from his teammates.
In a team like this, if you're Rutgers, you know you're playing Navy Navy isn't perfect at something. If they have penalties, if they have a turnover, they miss a field goal, you've got to take advantage of it.
Rutgers from the 23. James back in at running back. Nova to throw. Little dump too tall, incomplete. Looking for John Simmons. Armed Forces Football, proudly sponsored by USAA. A 7-0 Navy advantage just past the midpoint of the opening quarter.
So Rutgers wearing the American flag R on the side of their helmet in honor of the Service Academy here today.
James getting out of the edge. Zigzagging his way for a first down, just shy of the 35. That's a gain of a long dozen. Taken down by Chris Johnson, the team's leading tackler.
Well, look, this time at the right side of this offense, look at him do a really nice job of holding their blocks, getting an excellent lead block on the linebacker. That opens that whole side up. Sometimes you're that effective, you're big, you're powerful, you just overpower a defense like this.
It is a huge offensive line. All 5 started last year. On the ground on first down, out to the edge again. At the 45, the ball pops free and squirts out of bounds. Navy's jarred it loose a few times. Chris Johnson on this occasion, along with Quincy Adams, made contact, and Adams seemed to pop it free.
About the same thing going to the left side. A lot of blocks being held. First tackler doesn't get to the running back until 10 yards down the field. Then he rips and tears at that ball and brings that thing out. You've just got to be ultra conscious if you're a Rutgers back or anybody that handles the ball. These service academies know how to cause fumbles.
It's a 10-yard gain for Paul James, the man who led the American last year in rushing yards per game. Navy showing blitz. On the ground, bouncing it right side. Justin Goodwin, recently converted back from the quarterback ranks. That's another first down. Gashing into Navy territory, just shy of the midshipmen's 45.
And this is a good thing, as weird as it sounds, this is a good thing for Gary Nova and a good thing for their passing game. Because the more that Buddy Green's defense has to concentrate on the run, the more the receivers down the field and over the top are going to start feeling a lot more comfortable.
Rushing yards, surprisingly pretty close to even. It's about a 50-50 split in a Ralph Region offense, ideally.
Big pads on the outside, DB and wide receiver.
On the ground, and they get penetration in the backfield. A loss all the way back to the 49. That's a loss of 5. Parrish Gaines shot on in.
There's something we haven't seen. A tackler just penetrate, come up, make a play, and make a tackle. We've seen guys get there early, but Parrish Gaines coming from that safety spot all the way up, gets the leg and doesn't let it go. Beautiful job from a safety, just blitzing through.
Split backfield here. 2nd and 14. James slips through a first tackle. Next level to the 45 in Navy territory. It's a gain of about 6. Quazell Bertrand, the junior out of Antioch, Tennessee, took him down.
Another example there of this Rutgers, big physical Rutgers offensive line right there, averaging a little over 300 pounds. Getting contact on the defensive lineman for Navy and staying on the lineman, keeping that contact. And you can wear a defense out doing that.
Rutgers 0 for 1 on 3rd down thus far. Here's a 3rd and 9. They rush 4 and stump Nova over the middle, a little behind his target. That's brought in, but that's short by about 2 yards, only to the Navy 38.
Now you got to think about it here. You're in the plus territory. You're on the 38. They're going to go for it. See, before you're right around the 50 when they punted. This is perfect. This is not that big a gamble. You got the power. You got the size. You got a lead blocker. You got to get this.
James, the deep back. Nova under center. 4th and 2. James has it. 35. Makes a man miss. Shrugs off a hit. Bursting down the sideline. Paul James got some space on the edge and takes it to the house.
Wow, talk about a soft spot. Beautiful job. Concentrate on that right side. Tight end was not covered by a man. He blocks down. No one comes out and scrapes from the inside of the defense. James sees that as soon as he gets the ball. He knows it's outside, it's speed, and it's me from there.
38-yarder, his 7th touchdown of the year. Kyle Federico's point after a low-line drive, and that kick good. He's a perfect 12 for 12 on PATs, and we're tied at 7.
Look at the defenders. 1, 2, 3 right there. That's about it. Once you block that right side, there's nothing else coming. Tight end gets a block, fullback gets a block. You make a couple guys miss and bounce off a linebacker, it's a touchdown. That was power football at its best, and that was how Rutgers and Flood want to play football.
A check, though, on the hand of Paul James after that score. Now, Kyle Flood talked about it during this week leading up to the game, that Paul James has a knack for big plays. He was first in the country in total touchdowns through the first couple of weeks of the season, and then he was held in check. The entire ground game was corralled in that loss against Penn State.
Well, his style, there's guys that kind of go to contact to make contact. You've got to understand, if you're trying to tackle James, he goes to contact to bounce. He'll bounce right, he'll bounce left, he'll bounce off a tackler. He's usually going somewhere if he's going to initiate contact.
Antonio Gully, Ryan Williams-Jenkins, the return man. Williams-Jenkins from inside of his own 5. Williams-Jenkins refusing to yield. To the 33-yard line. And some solid field position. Today's first down line brought to you by Navy Federal Credit Union. First down has been kind to Navy today. Double-digit yardage multiple times on first down today.
And a great job by Rutgers there. You had a ball turned over on downs with that missed field goal. They made that mistake. Rutgers drove it right down and made them pay to tie this game up.
Navy from the 33. On the ground, Chris Swain to about the 36. That's a gain of 3. Tackled by Kenneth Kirksey.
So know that when you're looking at an option offense, a lot about how these offenses succeed are adjustments. The coaches have to make an adjustment to what the defensive coaches are trying to do. And we've already documented that Coach Flood and his staff have done a really good job of making their adjustments. So you stymie them a few times, you're going to see a different version of that offense coming at you.
Jagan Bacon, a plunge out of bounds. Joffrey Whiteside marking it around the 40. It's a gain of about 4. It goes back to the Greg Schiano era when the Rutgers' outstanding stout effort defensively against Navy was first created. It was on the heels of the 2004 loss that Schiano was surprised by. And they're using the same types of disciplines, the same rules in this defense today that were first enacted a decade ago.
And now a lot of it goes back to emphasis too. You try to adjust to this offense in 1 week, there's no way you can adjust in 1 week. It's smart. They work on it year round.
3rd and 3. The pitch, free football. Rutgers has the football. Darius Hamilton had the contact, and Quanzell Lambert falls upon the football as they have it in Navy territory.
Hamilton gets the contact around the lower legs of Reynolds. Watch him come in from the backside right there. He's tackling him. Just as Reynolds is getting ready to pitch, causes the ball to come up short. When it comes up short, Ken Niumatalolo's back can't handle it, and that turns into a fumble going the other way for Rutgers. Look at the backside. You're hesitating, but that also leaves your quarterback vulnerable. Now the question you've got to look at, looking at it, was his knee down Does he get tackled? Is that knee on the ground before the ball comes out? You look at it best from the back view we just showed. You look at it from behind the offense. Watch his knee. Down. I don't know if that ball's not out of his hand by the time that leg's down on the ground. That's what they're going to have to decide upstairs. Again, knee. Ball's coming out. I think that's going to be a fumble. Knee was just about down, but that ball is coming out of his hands. And because he was grabbed down there, his body was knocked off, and he wasn't able to pitch it in the normal sequence he would like to.
Does missing a game and being a little more limited in practice factor into that at all, or are you so veteran?
By Rutgers is confirmed. First down.
And replay holds up.
Yeah, I don't think it has much to do with practice. I mean, Keenan Reynolds can see and simulate in his mind about every option offensive snap you're going to get or look. You can't simulate, even in practice, getting hit and surprised from the rear, though. And anytime you've got that hesitation by the quarterback before he options, you're open for that. That's on the offensive line. That's penetration. We talked about the penetration. That's exactly what caused that play.
6 fumbles, 5 lost on the young year for Navy, something Ken Niumatalolo has been concerned about. Nova on the play fake. Throws a completion. Caught just before the 20. Forward progress to around the 18. Quincy Adams on the tackles. That was brought in by Leonte Carew.
Nice feat by Gary Nova. The defense for Navy penetrates almost like Hamilton did on the last play for Rutgers, but Nova gets up the field and goes ahead and dumps it down the field.
19-yard completion. Those two played high school ball together. Don Bosco prep. On the ground. Paul James carrying Quincy Adams to around the 11-yard line. A gain of 7 in the red zone. Today's red zone numbers brought to you by Verizon. You see what Rutgers has done this year.
The way these edge runs are going, though, John, I don't care what's worked so far. I know those runs are working great, especially over here on the right side, top of the screen.
Justin Goodwin in there at tailback. He's had a big run already today. It's Goodwin. Out to the edge again. Gets swarmed by defenders, but gets to around the 7. That's a gain of 4. James Britton, Joe Worth combined on the tackle.
Yeah, that's right where I was telling you about it. It's just obvious from up here. You can see the defense looks softer on that side, and you've got big physical offensive linemen. You've got tight ends on that side, 6'6", 240, 6'6", 245. They are going to dominate against some of these smaller linebackers for Navy.
Here's a huge look with one wide and the offset on. On the ground, penetration to the backfield, but it's tackle. To the 5. Gain of a couple. Chris Johnson with yet another stop.
There's a good example of my first tackler theory. If the first guy doesn't get there, slow him down or take him down, you're opening yourself up to some problems you really don't want much of.
Mark it officially at the 4. Rutgers has not led in this game. Second and goal. On the ground. Goodwin. Stopped right around the line of scrimmage.
We've been talking about that run on the outside. Now, here's where they've been going this way and running that way. Everything's now forced back inside. That's some nice defense by Navy. They forced the run back in instead of letting it penetrate. The results are like night and day different.
Time ticking away. The first quarter comes to a close. That is the end of the first. Your score tied at 7. You're watching college football right here on CBS Sports Network, the 24-hour home of CBS Sports. Tie game at 7. Second quarter getting underway, and with a pretty big spot here. John Sadak, Randy Cross. Sheehan Stanwick Birch down to the sidelines. Third down and goal from the 3-yard line for the Rutgers Scarlet Knights. What are you looking for here?
Well, we've seen Rutgers really accomplish job one, which is stopping the rush for Navy and out-rushing them 99-71. I think it's more run here. It's more power. Maybe on third down you play action, but I'm guessing right here it's third down, it's power.
12 rushes, 5 passes early for Rutgers. Goodwin, the deep back. Nova looking to throw. End zone incomplete. Intended for Janarian Grant, but that ball was nowhere near him.
Yeah, you definitely go for this 3 points right here, and the smart decision has already been made, and that's the decision that Gary Nova made of trying to hit the first spectator on the tall blue wall in the end zone, not getting it anywhere near his receivers or defender.
Any of that being gun shy after the pick session last week?
I think it's just being smart. That's just good coaching and good execution.
So here's the field goal try from Kyle Federico. On the way, and good. So Federico converts. He is 5 of 6 on field goals this year. And Rutgers has its first lead of the day. A 10-7 Rutgers advantage. It started with a short field as Navy put it on the ground.
Navy midshipman.
Loyalty. Honor. Dedication.
Family.
I play for my country.
I play for the United States.
I play for Navy.
A gorgeous day. Temperatures in the mid-70s. Rutgers leading 10-7, a short field thanks to a turnover, 7 plays, 34 yards to 2 minutes, 32 seconds. And a field goal from 21 yards out by Kyle Federico as Rutgers in front, the first lead of the day for the Scarlet Knights.
And if you think about it the right way, that's 10 points off of turnovers since that missed field goal. Because to me, that's a turnover. That's turning it over on downs. They turned it around. They scored a touchdown. They get that field goal right there off a fumble. That's 10 points already off turnovers.
Federico to kick. Gully, Williams-Jenkins, the return man. Williams-Jenkins watches this one go into the end zone. A touchback as we go down to the sidelines and learn more about today's game ball from Sheehan Stanwick Birch.
Well, guys, this is pretty cool. Navy's the only FBS team to use a big game ball, and this ball that they use has been completely designed by Keenan Reynolds, exactly to his specifications. He told us in our team meetings that he designed this ball after testing a bunch of them. He likes the NFL type of leather. He also likes the laces raised with real leather. He says it gives him a better grip of the ball. He can really feel it, especially when he pitches off the laces. He also said because he has smaller hands, he likes a skinnier type ball. So they've designed this all for him. Pretty cool. Randy, have you seen any other quarterbacks do this?
Not really. No one else, last time I checked, got the right to have designed their own ball.
Is there something to that, though, to having a different type of ball? Is there that much of a grip?
Sure. I mean, like she was just saying, you know, if you don't have the biggest hands in the world, leather is fantastic, especially if it's the right kind of ribbed leather, and then raising those stitches in there, and then having those made out of leather, that gives them even a tackiness to them. So yeah, it makes handling the ball a lot easier.
He's called it a Frankenstein-like process when he cherry-picked the best elements of different footballs. Nice effort by Ryan Williams-Jenkins, the slot back, grinding his way to around the 34. It's a gain of 6.
Yeah, we mentioned earlier about Keenan Reynolds being a big Peyton Manning fan. He loved that quarterback growing up, he's always said, and he can throw. That's why he likes to remind people, I'm not just a runner. I can throw that ball pretty good.
Here on 3rd and 1, though, you're likely not throwing, right?
Oh, you're likely running the quarterback is what you're doing. Finding that open gap inside.
Reynolds does that as a flag comes out.
That's either a hold or a chop block inside.
Steve Longa had the tackle. Let's get word on the penalty.
foul. Clipping. Offense. 15 yards from the previous spot. Repeat third down.
The inside of this pit look, you'll be able to see coming back from the backside. Watch it from the left side.
57.
Didn't see much in the way of a clip there. Everybody else that was lined up in line.
E.K. Binns, might have heard the number 57 being mentioned in the background there, seemed to get low. So Navy 0 for 2 on third downs, now facing instead of 3rd and 1, 3rd and 16. Reynolds, tip ball, finds a target at the 35. That is a catch, and that's good for a first down. Jameer Tillman, Kareem flashing in coverage on the tackle.
Not bad for an option quarterback, huh? A guy that last year had 31 touchdowns rushing. He knows he's going to get smacked. He knows he's going to get caught from the side. He still steps into the throw and delivers this thing right on the money for a first down.
Tillman's a good downfield threat. Led the team in catches entering today. The son of Cedric Tillman, who had time in the NFL. The dive to the 38. Noah Copeland, the fullback, on the plunge.
The Rutgers defense is doing a decent job stopping this run. We've seen the penetration from Darius Hamilton, 91 inside, a good bit, and the defensive tackles in general. That's good news, bad news for this defense. Sometimes you can get that penetration inside, and you're getting it because they're not blocking you, and that makes the hole behind you even bigger.
Off the play fake, Reynolds loading up. Throw right incomplete. Looking for Brandon Colon, the man they call the future. A freshman out of Brownsville, Texas, who's trying to get his plebe legs back.
Well, that ball really sailed on Reynolds, too. Remember, he's wearing a knee brace. It's a little smaller knee brace than the one he started the week with, but it's still a different feel for his legs. Quarterbacks have a tendency not to bend their knees as much as they should when they wear the braces, and that'll usually make the ball sail high when you're stiff-legged.
3 of 5 thus far. There's a 3rd down and 8. Pocket holds well, but that ball wildly incomplete. Brandon Dudek seemed to break in as the ball sailed away.
Well, you had a receiver open on the left side. I really think, to be honest with you, that he's throwing it more all the way outside, trying to hit Brendan Dudek out there, but it's not even close to him.
So Pablo Beltran to punt, averaging 44.2 per punt this year. Janarian Grant, the return man, who has returned a punt for a touchdown on his career. Did so against Arkansas for 58 yards. Let's this one roll, end zone. So a 62-yard punt and a touchback for field position. A 10-7 Rutgers lead, the 25th all-time meeting of Rutgers and Navy. Rutgers out of the Big Ten, a 10-7 lead at Navy. Early stage second quarter. This just the start of your day. A triple header of football on CBS Sports Network. Coming up next, Miami of Ohio takes on Cincinnati, presented by Geico. Louisiana Lafayette, the Ragin' Cajuns at Boise State on the Smurf turf and inside college football after the game. Worth noting that James Britton, second on this Navy team at tackles entering today, apparently has his foot wrapped up in a boot.
Yeah, valuable backup linebacker, used a lot. Makes lots of tackles. Already out for the rest of this one, it would appear.
There's Rutgers from its own 20, thanks to a touchback on the punt that rolled into the end zone. On the ground, Paul James going boundary, refusing to go down, tumbled at around the 30. Mark him at the 31, gain of 11. That's good for a first. William Tweeter on the tackle.
You know, no excuse. If you're the first guy there, and in this case, it was Sarah, 77. 5 yards back, he had his hands on James. He could not drive through that tackle. James got off him, spun, and made 6 more yards.
Out of the gun. Nova finds his target on the edge. Carew. Brendan Clements on the tackle. Here's a look at what Paul James has accomplished thus far.
Well, the first carry, the ball is hit on the helmet. Other than that, he fumbles on the first one. When he gets contact, he ain't sticking around. He's not making contact to make an impression or to impress you with his strength. He's hitting you to get away from you.
Got 38 of those 110 on the touchdown gallop. On the ground, and James, huge hole over midfield, and the ball pops free. Navy's got it. Recovered back at the Navy 40. Quazell Bertrand knocked it loose. Will Anthony found the football. The Scarlet Knight is down as the midshipmen go bananas.
That gigantic hole, was he down before the ball came out? Yes. After he actually comes down to the ground one more time. Elbow, shoulder, yes, down completely. That's just down by contact. That is not a fumble.
And that was some odd twisting of the body in the process for Paul James. Enter today tied for 3rd in the country in total touchdowns. He's already got that 38-yard TD. And as he gets tended to, we will step aside. A 10-7 Rutgers advantage. We'll have more. And we have official review as well. Paul James was just helped off the field with great assistance.
Again, take a look at this. Just domination up front. Just a monstrous hole. James takes that shot to his left thigh. Helmet right in the thigh by the knee. Wasn't really on the knee. Surprised actually seeing some of the other replays that the Navy defender wasn't hurt too. It looked like his body came down right on the side of the knee of the Navy safety.
And the original ruling was fumble, Navy ball at the 40, but review during break confirmed what you saw, Randy. He was down before that ball came free.
They better change things up on defense from the Navy perspective, because right now they've got them zeroed in and they're getting pounded up front.
At the Navy 46, Desmond Peoples back in at running back. The late handoff to Peoples, weaving through traffic, gets tackled on high, cut down at around the 44 by Daniel Gonzalez.
Yeah, nice job by the Navy defense there. I mean, Rutgers let some of them get off the blocks, and that's why Navy was able to make a tackle on that play and hold them for the yards they did. Buddy Green's defense, it's one thing to get blocked, but it's another thing to stay blocked. On some of those big runs, they have stayed blocked.
Second and 8. Peoples to the edge. Peoples dunking the head. Leads forward to the 39. Chris Johnson on the tackle. 8 of 5.
Man on man, who's getting off? Nobody. That's what you have to look for. Look at the white jerseys, get on the dark jerseys, and if the dark jerseys don't get off to make a tackle, you're talking about at least a 5-yard gain.
And Parrish Gaines, the free safety, down for Navy. The leader, the captain, who transitioned from corner to safety last year, one of the top tacklers on this team.
Yeah, he was a tough, really good defender on the outside as a corner, and he's actually gotten a chance to show how he can hit and how physical he can be, even more so as a safety. Looked like he got a little hit from one of his buddies on the defense too.
How can Navy counteract the size advantage that Rutgers has started to impose?
Well, right now the blocking scheme, like I said, has Navy zeroed in. They're where they expect them to be when they get there. How do you change that? Well, you can obviously line up a little different spots. You can stunt to different places. You can stem with linebackers to different places or as a line. But you've got to start changing things up and doing things a little differently, because Buddy Green, the defensive coordinator you saw right there of the Naval Academy, his defense is getting predictable, and that's when you get pounded.
2. George Jamison in at safety. It makes a little difference here. Keep it on the ground, get the first nearly to the 30 on the run by Desmond Peoples.
So you can tell the thing about our guys getting off blocks. Watch how far the back gets to the line of scrimmage. 5, 6 yards until there's a defender actually near him. And he runs by 2 or 3 in the line of scrimmage, but they're covered up by blockers. That's dominant up front look by the Rutgers Scarlet Knights.
Kyle Flood will tell you that he's worried about the depth issue with their offensive line, but he loves the 5 big men that are up there in the starting role. Peoples behind that line. Pounds out a little more than 2. There is Kyle Flood. Led Rutgers to 9 wins in year number 1. And a share of the only championship in program history. He's the only man in Rutgers history to lead the Scarlet Knights to bowl games in each of his first 2 seasons.
Yeah, he's really been able to come in here and build upon what Greg Schiano had established here. I think he's improved it. He's given him a little more of an identity.
2nd and 7, the play fake. Nova, wide open target. He finds Carew. And Carew knocked down at the 10. Quazell Bertrand in there on the contact, down and goal. 18-yard completion.
When you're going to run the ball like that, watch the linebackers react to the fake to the backs. This second level of defense sucks up, sees the back, you throw right behind it, and you've got a wide open receiver. This is Gary Nova's view. Very nice delivery. Excellent route. That's all set up by that pounding running game.
1st and goal. Peoples on the ground. Spins off a hit. Falls forward with contact. He's down at the 1. Gain of 9.
That's one of the signature things. How do you know when an offense has got it going on? The back isn't touched until 6 yards after he's given the ball. Not even confronted from the side. He meets a safety in the hole, then spins off for another 4 yards.
Bertrand had the first hit. Obi Uzoma ultimately took him down. 2nd and goal from the 1. Nova keeps it behind those big bodies. Gary Nova.
That should be a touchdown. He's in the end zone.
No signal yet as they peel the pile. Touchdown. Randy Cross. Soothsay.
He just crawled into the end zone before the other guys jumped on top of him. Watch him put his head down, just burrow in behind his lineman. Then the pile comes in and sort of reinforces his position. Stay in the bottom of those piles like that, you'll become a fossil after a while with that much pressure on you.
A diamond eventually, right?
Right.
2nd rushing touchdown of the year for Nova. So a point after for Kyle Federico. And his kick good. 10 plays, 80 yards. It took nearly 5 minutes, and the Rutgers Scarlet Knights going bananas from an early deficit to a 17-7 lead. The red rifle, although the offense for the New York Giants has not exactly
No one knows what offense the Giants run. Not even the Giants. Not even their quarterback Eli Manning knows what they run.
17-7. Rutgers has run quite a bit against this Navy team. You asked about it during the break. Time of possession favoring Rutgers by about 4 minutes.
Right now, Rutgers is out Navying Navy. They're possessing the ball and they're running the heck out of it.
Ryan Williams-Jenkins takes a knee. We have had some downed bodies on both sides. And for more on the injury front, let's go down to the sidelines and Sheehan Stanwyck-Birch.
Well, guys, Rutgers doesn't release injury reports, but Stevenson on Rutgers defense, number 27, had his leg braced up and walked off the field with crutches. The same for Paul James, who leads the team in rushing for Rutgers. He had his right leg braced and left on crutches. On the Navy sideline, Keenan Reynolds, I saw him warming up on the bike on the sideline, adjusting his knee brace. Didn't seem to have any issues, probably just trying to keep it warm.
Thank you, Sheehan. This Rutgers bunch has been banged up coming in, missing 2 likely starting wide receivers. It is Reynolds, Copeland the deep man. Reynolds, a first down throw, knocked down. Intended for Brendan Dudek. Kareem Glashan was there to bat it away.
Yeah, you can make an argument right now that Rutgers is in the Navy coaching staff's head because of that dominance on the offensive side, because this is not what Navy is. I know I've been telling you that Keenan Reynolds can throw the ball, but this is a first down pass. And this is a first down pass. It shouldn't be fitted in that hole he's trying to fit it in. This is a team that's a dominant running game, or running team, and right now their running game isn't real dominant.
Second down, Reynolds. Ooh, that's a hard hit. Right around the 31 by Kenneth Kirksey at 6'1", 275.
That's the thing about Keenan Reynolds. He will initiate contact sometimes when he runs in the middle. He's only about 200 pounds, but he can hit. He's got great leg drive.
And here's the consequence of an incompletion on first down. Here's 3rd and 4.
Yeah, this is a spot where you're behind the sticks, and that's something that Navy's not used to. They're used to 3rd and 1 or 3rd and 2 in this case.
They're 1 of 4 on 3rd down so far. The pitch play. They get the edge. They get the first down. Ryan Williams-Jenkins, the slot back on the carry.
You're on the right hash mark. You've got that whole field to your left, and you've got some serious speed coming out of the backfield with Williams-Jenkins. He's got the edge at the pitch. The corner is out of position. The receiver has done a typically good job of blocking. That was more scheme than anything else. They out-schemed Rutgers D.
Worth noting they're without Brandon Sanders today, their usual punt returner, and a dynamic playmaker at that slot back position. On first down, Reynolds keeps and gets overwhelmed by a pair of Scarlet Knights. Let's check in with Brent Stover in our New York studios for an update. There's an interesting score for the Big Ten.
Last time Utah was at the Big House, they beat Rich Rod's Michigan Wolverines. First game for Rich Rod at Michigan.
Incompletion to Brandon Colon. That was a Wolverine team that in the Rodriguez era could score a lot of points, had trouble stopping opponents. It feels like in the Brady Hoke era, the strengths and weaknesses have been inverted.
Well, and you look at this game, you know, Navy came in here averaging 400 yards a game plus in rushing. Right now, they're under 100 yards for this half. So right now, they're really being shut down by their standards by Rutgers.
3rd and 12. Pocket holds well. Reynolds finds his target near the sideline. That's a catch. Ryan Williams-Jenkins helped out a play by Lorenzo Waters.
Watch the ball. Watch the feet. Then watch the ball again. He's got it. The feet are in. And it's a catch all the way through the process.
Huge conversion on 3rd and 12. And here's the pitch. They fell for the dive. Out on the edge. Joffrey Whiteside. It's to around the 34-yard line. A gain of about 7.
Nice mix by Keenan Reynolds. He's getting them with the one pass, but they're using the flank. They're using the speed. They're trying to get this defense to react laterally to open up that fullback and quarterback running game and a hole in the middle of this defense.
Does it feel like they're pushing tempo a bit here, too?
A little bit.
Quentin Singleton, the fullback, and a whistle.
Flood and Rutgers called that timeout.
Rutgers, their second timeout.
So a timeout called by the Scarlet Knights. Each team called one of the early stage of the contest.
And it's a smart timeout. The timeout gives your defense a second to catch their breath, get their coaches on the field, and it takes them out of that rhythm you were just talking about, because Navy is kind of back into a little bit of a bounce. Call this timeout and see if you can stall that timing a little bit.
17-7 margin. Reynolds engineering this drive. He has shown that he is not only healthy, but I think he's demonstrating against a Power 5 team yet again what his abilities downfield are.
Oh, and he can definitely throw the ball, but when he really got to work last year. It was throwing play action, but mostly it was running. Quarterback touchdowns rushing in a season, 31. Same for his 31 numbers, touchdowns in a season overall. This guy's going to rewrite all the quarterback position record books by the time he gets out of here after next season.
2nd and 3, the record-setting quarterback keeps it. 4 white jerseys swarm him. Not much of a gain there. Quentin Gauze on the tackle.
Watch the way this defense gets right here at the point of attack, reacts to Reynolds and the fullback. They look like they're blocked, but then you have the linebacker, then you have the safety. Remember, we told you they've got 3 safeties and 1 less linebacker. They're quicker to react, and they're taking that second option away.
Navy gets its 4th third down conversion of the game. The long lob over the middle to Brendan Dudek.
Well, I told you in the first quarter, this option offense specializes in adjustments. Well, Ivan Jasper, the offensive coordinator, unbelievable job there, man, adjusting, and you didn't do it with the running game. You've done it in these last couple passes in the passing game. How do you do that? You've got a quarterback that can deliver it even when he knows he's going to get rocked.
It's a 27-yard connection to a young man in Dudek who's in training to become a Navy SEAL. He's hoping to be chosen for one of 28 spots. Reynolds keeps it, standing up, touchdown, Navy.
Remember what I told you about that outside speed, outside speed. Be careful of fullback, be careful of quarterback. They've showed so much speed. All Reynolds had to do was show him a little bit of a threat on the outside, keep that ball, and there was nothing inside to stop him from a touchdown.
Keenan Reynolds, 2nd TD of the day, the point after. Good. And we've got a field goal margin. A 9-play, 75-yard drive to 3:18. And here's the look to Brendan Dudek.
Beautiful pass in the middle of the field, and that sets Keenan Reynolds up for what he does best, and that's he smells 6, and he goes and gets 6.
Ken Niumatalolo said, we want to see him look fresher. We want to see him look faster. I think he's lived up to that today.
Yeah, how's that knee look? You know, he's throwing the ball well. He's reacting well. I'm going to give Rutgers credit. They've got a nice game plan defensively. They frustrated him at times, but Ivan Jasper, the offensive coordinator, did a very nice job of adjusting on that last drive, run and pass.
He's 5 of 10 passing for 75 yards. He's rushed 8 times and twice has found Pater.
This thing's over with. This kid could have 5 touchdowns rushing. They get down in the goal line situations enough times.
Here's the kick. Denarian Grant just in front of his goal line. Gets collared at around the 23, a flag out. Gets overrun by 3 midshipmen at around the 25-yard line.
Was he collared or was he helmeted / face masked?
I think the flag will tell that tale.
Yeah.
During the return, holding return team number 32.
Neither.
Half the distance from the spot of the foul, first down.
It goes on Justin Goodwin, who has been in the running back rotation quite a bit. Let's take a look.
Now, where is he grabbed and tackled? It looks like it was more by the jersey than anything else. That wasn't a horse collar by the pads or a dread grab.
Today's first down line brought to you by Navy Federal Credit Union.
Now, here's a compelling situation. How does Rutgers react? They come out smash mouth here in the final 3:41. I bet they do, with a play action in between.
It's their worst starting field position today. They go to Goodwin, who had the special teams tackle. He pops it to the 14 before William Tweeter took him down.
Yeah, the way this offensive line is starting to dial things in, it's really incumbent upon Sarah and company up front, that defensive line. If you're not going to control the area around you, you better control the blockers so the linebackers can go to the ball. Because right now the linemen are getting off on the backers and they're blocking the down line.
2nd and 5. Play fake. Nova. Deep look in stride. Caught beyond midfield. Andrew Terzelli, the 5th-year senior out of Butler, New Jersey, transferred in from Kansas, and he goes big play in a big way.
Well, there's your smash mouth followed by the play action. Big play action. Set up by the fact they're running the ball so effectively. And there's a case. Talk about being able to walk away from a defense when you see the ball in the air. That's walking away from a defensive back going after the ball. Beautiful stuff.
39-yard hookup to the Navy 47. Keep it on the ground. Justin Goodwin to the 42. Gain of 5. Tackled by Quazell Bertrand. And Navy rotates quite a bit. They consider all 3 of the men in their depth at each linebacker slot a starter. At the defensive line, they historically haven't rotated as much, but they did against Texas State.
Well, they're doing a little bit here today, too. They've had Sarah out on occasion inside, but they're catching a lot of George Foreman straight leads to the chops right now.
Oh, Goodwin. First down. Next level to the 29. Bertrand getting worn out in that safety position. Yet another tackle.
Here comes the gash, and I'm talking right in the middle of this defense. Watch the man blocking. Watch the bodies hit the turf. Beautiful cut. Suddenly you're looking up, and all you got to look at as a running back is a safety going, man, I better cat tackle you, or the only thing behind me are fans.
13-yard run, and how about this? Rutgers plus 60 in rushing yards.
How's this for an answer to a drive by Navy? Going to use 2 minutes of this 3:41 so far, too.
From the 29, stutter step. And a solid look by the Navy defense to get penetration from William Tweeter. Armed Forces football, proudly sponsored by Northrop Grumman. Currently a field goal separating these teams. The all-time series only separated by 1 game. 12 wins, 11 losses, 1 draw in favor of Rutgers, which has won 4 of 5. On the ground. Oh, it's just that easy, it seems. All the way to the 20 for Goodwin. Tweeter combining on the tackle with Gonzalez.
Now, this is where you talk about offenses getting in rhythm. This offensive line for Rutgers, they're in rhythm. They're bouncing up and down. They can't wait to get another chance to block this defensive Navy because the running backs aren't getting touched for 7 yards past the line of scrimmage.
Coming up on the variety.
I think they're just going to let their guys relax. I think they're going to let them catch their breath, keep pounding the ball. Remember, they got this ball backed up right by their goal line back there with 3:41 to go. Now there's 54 seconds to go in this drive. 54 seconds to go in the half. I think it's to get them a little bit of a chance to compose themselves, get the linemen some water, and turn them loose on some fresh meat.
Plus 40 on their season-long per-game average. That goes up as Goodwin goes down inside of the 10 at the 6-yard line. Quazell Bertrand again on the tackle. And some personnel changes quickly for Rutgers.
Yeah, that was a nice job up front by that Rutgers offensive line. It was a draw look, but man, did they maintain their blocks. That front 7 by Navy got covered up, and again, it was a safety that had to make the play on what was a really slow-hitting run.
First and goal from the 6, and they look to throw. They look end zone incomplete. Found the back judge on the leg, and there's a flag down.
After those 5 interceptions, Gary Nova's not throwing that ball anywhere near harm's way, and that's smart to me. You can run the ball like this. Why in God's name would you even put the ball in doubt?
That's why I was a little surprised to see the timeout.
Holding. Defense number 17. Half the distance from the previous spot. By rule, automatic first down.
That goes on Quazell Bertrand. This is a Navy team that averages less than 3 penalties a game.
Watch 17, Bertrand. Didn't look like much of a hold there. The hand might have gone across the chest, but it sure didn't look like he held him.
That shortens things up for Rutgers. 31 seconds. First down and goal at the Navy 3. On the ground, Goodwin hurdles a man, plunges into the end zone. Touchdown, Rutgers. The sophomore at Madison, New Jersey, emblematic of what Rutgers has done throughout the half.
Only appropriate, this offensive line and this offense should power the ball in. And a linebacker 4 yards behind the line of scrimmage is all that stands between Rutgers and another touchdown, and he really never has a chance because that whole D-line's cleared out of the way.
Kyle Federico's point after out of the hold of Mike Bamonte. And the kick good. 24-14 Rutgers, and the clairvoyance of Kyle Flood as well to convert Justin Goodwin back to running back. He had moved him to corner and elected to move him full-time back into the backfield. He said he wanted greater depth. He was asked throughout the week, how will you get enough touches, enough carries for Peoples, James, and Goodwin? And then James gets hurt. Goodwin goes in for a score.
It's amazing how good coaches make smart decisions, isn't it? And there's your scoring drive Rutgers just put up. As impressive as that Navy drive for 6 points, they get the ball with 3 minutes and 41 seconds to go. One big pass play, but half a dozen just smashing runs.
Goodwin, by the way, started at corner in the opener against Washington State, had a pick in the first series of the game. Now the man who missed a couple of games with an upper body injury has the rushing TD. As Ryan Williams-Jenkins.
The mysterious upper body or lower body injury has creeped into the college football game, huh?
It has.
I thought that was only an NFL.
That is the Rutgers injury report. Back of the end zone. That's a touchback. So Navy armed with 2 timeouts, yes, but forced to traverse such a tremendous amount of space, down 10 points. Do you take a shot? What do you run here?
If you don't run a play here, you might run a normal play here if you're Navy. But if you don't get across the 50, you just kneel on it. Don't mess around. Don't expose the ball to the chance you can give it back to Rutgers.
You saw that number, a very telling stat. Rutgers with 200 yards rushing and Navy only 113. As you mentioned, a Navy team that entered today leading the country at 403 yards per game.
Nothing unusual about Rutgers stymieing this triple option, though.
Copeland, nothing. Overwhelmed by Hamilton and Kirksey. Loses a yard.
You don't run another play. You just say, let's go inside. Let's take a look at some film and some pictures and see if we can figure this thing out. And a great first half by Coach Flood and these Rutgers Scarlet Knights. They should be proud of this effort.
When Navy has trailed at half under Ken Niamontalolo, the midshipman, 11-23 and 24-14. The Rutgers advantage at halftime. Scarlet Knights team that has won 4 of 5 in the series. Dominated it on the ground. As we go down out of the field, she and Stanwick Birch standing by with Rutgers head man Kyle Flood.
Thanks, John. Well, Coach, your quarterback, Gary Nova, drew a lot of criticism after throwing 5 interceptions last week. How do you describe his decision-making today?
I think Gary had a good week of practice, and I see it all kind of unfolding here on the field. I'm very pleased right now.
You guys have stopped Navy on the run. They just have 113 yards. How were you able to do that?
Well, we got a lot of work to do. I tell you that some of those tackles are close to getting out, so we got to get regrouped here at halftime and get ready for whatever adjustments they have for us.
Thanks, Coach, for your time.
Thank you.
That is the end of the first half as we have a 24-14 Rutgers advantage over Navy. After this break, we'll send you back to our CBS Sports Network studio. You're watching college football right here on CBS Sports Network, the 24-hour home of CBS Sports. The midshipmen A little downtrodden currently, down 10 points to the visiting Rutgers Scarlet Knights. So we welcome you back. John Sadak alongside the College Football Hall of Famer Randy Cross. Randy, this first half saw Rutgers take quite a bit out of Navy's playbook.
Yeah, the Navy, the midshipmen are not used to having the script kind of flipped on them like this, because Rutgers has run the ball effectively. They've held on to the ball. They've won the turnover battle. They've gotten 10 points off of turnovers, where Navy has only taken advantage of that one turnover that Rutgers took advantage. Rutgers started the game with a fumble early on.
And here are the highlights of the opening stanza.
And here's that fumble. Initially, helmet on the ball comes out. Navy gets it. Half a handful of plays later, Keenan Reynolds scores a touchdown, his first of the day.
A little later, James on the ground. They changed to Desmond People, showing versatility in that backfield. And ground and pound seemed like all day.
Yeah, and that's what they've done here. The better part of the second quarter is they've sized them up, they've zeroed them in, and they've just found their position and pounded them. And it's not so much that Navy hasn't executed. I think it's more that Rutgers' game plan has just been flat better than Navy's, and they've done a better job of implementing it.
Take a look at the 5-hour energy first half stats. Rushing yards 200 for Rutgers, only 112 for Navy.
Yeah, only one turnover apiece. Time of possession is something that normally swings pretty wildly in Navy's favor, but not today against this football team. They've really hung on to it.
So the American flag flies as we zero in on the start of the second. Navy won the coin toss to begin the game and deferred, so the midshipmen get the ball. They have Ryan Williams-Jenkins, the deep return man. Kyle Federico, 3 touchbacks on kickoffs in the first half. He's had some trouble kicking it out of bounds on the season. Did so to begin the Penn State game last week. Williams-Jenkins takes the knee. Today's quarterback profile brought to you by True Biotics, a daily probiotics from the nutrition experts at 1 a day. Keenan Reynolds, 8 rushes, 2 have gone for touchdowns, 5 of 10 passing today. What have you seen from Keenan?
I think he's been effective running the ball. Obviously, he has 2 touchdowns doing it. He's been about what you'd expect, about a 50% impact passer. I think the outside run has worked well. They've taken the fullback away, though.
They go in the air. Big connection on first down to Jameer Tillman.
There you go, Ivan Jasper, the offensive coordinator of the Naval Academy. Start the game in the second half, thinking air. Beautiful spiral, beautiful placement, good execution by Navy, way down the field, inside the 25.
53-yard connection. Noah Copeland, the fullback, already knocking on the red zone door at the Rutgers 22. Reynolds to the edge. Not much there. Loses some extra yards. Sebastian Joseph on that tackle as we check in with the third member of our crew, she and Stanwick Birch.
Well, guys, I chatted with Coach Niumatalolo, and he seemed upbeat coming out of halftime. He said it's been a tough game. They started off strong. They need to finish, and his primary concern is just stopping the Rutgers offense.
That has been a monumental task early. Second and 12 here. Reynolds pressured backside and sacked. Dropped it around the 32-yard line. David Maluski got back there, the 5th-year senior.
Yeah, Brandon Heap just gets run through for the sack. Reynolds never really gets a chance to go down the field, checking past his second.
Ken Niumatalolo certainly not enthralled. That's the 2nd sack of the year allowed by Navy. And a completion here inside of the 20. Joffrey Whiteside to around the 17-yard line.
I think you see him go for it here on 4th down. I don't know how enamored Coach Niumatalolo is with his kicker, but no, he's going to go with him.
A miss wide left officially from 41 earlier in the game for Nick Sloan. This attempt from 35. He has missed 3 of 5 on the season. This try on the way. And good. So he connects from 35 yards out. And Navy creeps back within a touchdown, 24-17. They got a short field. The big play had it at the Rutgers 22. They settle for 3. Ken Niumatalolo loves the points. Keenan Reynolds, he went for 53 yards in the air on play 1 to ignite the second half, but Navy settles for a field goal make to make it a touchdown game.
And the second part of what Ken Niumatalolo told Sheehan to start this second half is they need to get Rutgers off the field. Let's see how they can do when Gary Nova and company take the field and begin to pound him.
Austin Greavy, Janarian Grant from his own 2. Submarine with flag flying at around the 22-yard line. Ryan Harris on the tackle, but let's see what the flag is for.
Personal foul. Illegal block below the waist. 31 on the kicking team. 15 yards from the end of the run. First down.
Another penalty against Navy, a Navy team that averages less than 3 penalties per game.
And the men covering the kickoff cannot go low like that. You see how low the blockers were taken out, down around the knees. That's illegal now in college football. You don't want to see that, and that's going to cost them 15 yards.
Today's quarterback profile brought to you by True Biotics, a daily probiotic from the nutrition experts at 1 a day. Gary Nova, decision-making solid, 7 of 9 passing. The 2 incompletions both went north of the end zone when receivers were covered. Already 3 penalties against Navy today. Desmond Peoples with a shorter field trying to reverse that field. Could not break free from the grips of Daniel Gonzalez.
There's a little something you didn't see much. They started to run that ball, did Rutgers, to the strong side of the offense, tried to cut it back to the weak side, but Sarah and the better part of the middle of that defense met him when he made that cut back.
A loss back to around the 35. 2nd and 12. Nova underneath to Peoples. Gets the block at the 40. Zips it up and tripped it around the 40-yard line in Navy territory by Quazell Bertrand. Mark him at around the 38. That's a 25-yard gallop.
Beautiful job by Bertrand coming off that block and saving a touchdown for the Navy defense. 17, Bertrand right there in the lower left part of your screen. He'll come up from his safety spot, deal with the blockers, and make a tackle. Comes off the wide receiver's attempted block, and doesn't matter if you get him by a cleat and half a shoelace, it's still getting him, and he still goes down. That was a touchdown if not for that.
On the ground, Peoples has the edge. Peoples shrugging off a first hit. Jordan Drake finally takes him down at around the 25. That's another first down. Parrish gains in there as well. Gain of 13.
Now remember, when we look at this side, look at all the blocks that are taken and held. The white jersey gets on the blue jersey. The blue jersey doesn't come off fast enough. That is perfect offensive run game execution.
Bad sign, so many safeties making tackles for Navy, while Rutgers continues to dominate on the ground. Peoples knifing right up the middle. That's nearly 5 to about the 20. Jordan Drake in there on the stop.
And this drive is exactly what Ken Niumatalolo from Navy didn't want to see start the second half.
Down man for the midshipman. It's the man who made the tackle, Jordan Drake, the senior out of Douglasville, Georgia, who moved from outside backer to inside backer. He was the team's 4th leading tackler entering today. And they've already had James Britton, their 2nd leading tackler, put a boot on during the course of the game.
It looks like he got caught in a funny position and then got rolled over his own ankle.
And right ankle went in a funky direction. His main backup at that Sam position, Micah Polamalu, the man who retired at one point during the course of summer camp due to a medical concern and got a second opinion from doctors within about a week's time, came back to the program with the blessing of Ken Niumatalolo.
And if that name sounds familiar, yes, cousin of the bushy-haired one, Troy Polamalu of the Pittsburgh Steelers.
I'm very jealous. Is that a ball joke? You rubbing that in right
After
now?
all those years, Polamalu's hair now covers his number. This is just cover his name. Now it covers his number.
Might need to get a separate jersey just for that. 2nd and 5. Peoples to the 18. Gain of 2. And time continues to tick away. Navy's not used to this, being flushed to the sidelines by a powerful opposing rushing attack.
Well, look at these 2 possessions. Navy's possession, they have the ball for 2 minutes, throw a couple of big passes, get a field goal. Rutgers gets it back. Run, pound, pass, pound. Big play right here. Holding to a field goal attempt if you keep him short.
2 of 5 on 3rd down today. It's Peoples needing 3. And he's going to get inside of the 15 before Obi Uzoma made the tackle. And that should be good for a 1st down.
First contact actually looked like they might have stopped him short of the line to gain. Watch first contact. First contact is about the 13-yard line, but he doesn't take first contact is what he's going to let them go with. And Coach Flood's running back spins off that attempted tackle and gets a 1st down.
And it looks like Bernard Sarah's slow to get up. The stability of the defense. Defensive coordinator Buddy Green told us he's as dependable and solid as anyone we've ever had on the defensive line.
And somebody you've got to have against this kind of team. You just flat got to have that nose tackle, defensive tackle that control people up front. But he's had the same problem that the other 2 down linemen have had, and the other 5 players in the front 7 have had. They haven't gotten off the blocks.
Big body at 303. His main backup, Patrick Forrestall, 6'4", 305, the sophomore of Albany, Georgia. He's out there to fill that much-needed nose guard spot.
Navy gets a lot of recruits out of Georgia. They were just down in Texas playing Texas State. A lot of recruits out of Texas.
We'll have Georgia Southern on the schedule later this year. Another game you can watch on CBS Sports Network. Justin Goodwin, the deep man, from the 15. And Goodwin just has a bubble of space around him, carrying him to the 10. Obi Uzoma on the tackle. Today's Red Zone numbers brought to you by Verizon. The Red Zone numbers for the Scarlet Knights: 3 trips, 2 TDs today.
A few percentage points above average nationally.
This Navy team began the day 38th in the country in red zone defense, allowing scores 75% of the time.
Soft corner on the left side again.
Toss goes right. Lots of bodies there. What a Superman hurdle. Leaping to around the 8. Quazel Bertrand, Obi Uzoma swarming yet again.
Nice job by Navy just stringing it out, but Bertrand gets him zeroed in, drops his head to make the tackle, and suddenly he's gone. Hops straight up and hops out as he hops up and gets some positive yards.
So it's 3rd down. 3rd and 3. Goodwin again. Goodwin. First down. Chopped down at around the 2. First and goal. Daniel Gonzalez, the middle linebacker, made his first start against Ohio State, makes this tackle.
Strong side lead with that fullback coming up. Lineman comes off. As soon as the lineman comes off, the lead back goes on the linebacker. They block the backside backer, and there's a huge gap.
Nova hands it off. And not much there. About a yard for Goodwin. Jordan Drake helped stop him a little more than a yard short of pay dirt. They're going to go big here as they send in both a fullback in Sam Bergen and an extra tight end. Nick Arcidiacono, the cousin of the Villanova Wildcats point guard, Ryan Arcidiacono. Motion from Bergen. On the ground, Goodwin. No, sir.
Just short. Barely inside the 1 yard line. Watch the surge or lack thereof from Rutgers. Rutgers is not getting the big blocking surge. There are blue jerseys in the backfield. The white jerseys aren't pushing them out of the way. Nice job by the backside backers coming through and filling for those D linemen.
There's Buddy Green, the vocal DC. Class of 76 out of North Carolina State. Rutgers has converted 2 third downs on this drive, 4 of 7 on the game. Nova keeps plunging over center. Gary Nova's got a rushing touchdown already today. That came after a peel of the pile, and he's got another. Touchdown to Rutgers.
Well, they ate up 6.5 minutes with that drive, and good, powerful blocking, specifically on that play. Chris Muller, the right guard, number 70, pushed about 2.5 midshipmen into the end zone in front of Gary Nova.
He ran the wing T in his high school days at Boyertown High School. And against this Navy squad, paves the path that helps make it 31-17. A 12-play, 63-yard drive. Took 6:32. It's 31-17.
Kane, if you're not one of the big dogs and you don't play a conference championship game, I don't like your chances.
Time now for today's icy hot injury report. The chance is not good for these 3 men. James Britton out with a broken foot. Paul James and DeLon Stevenson both out with right leg injuries. Britton, the second leading tackler for Navy. James had nearly 100 yards and that long 38-yard touchdown run.
Now here's ideally for Ken Niumatalolo and Navy, they would like the ball the rest of this quarter. 6 minutes and 20 seconds to go. That sounds like a pretty good touchdown drive to them.
Ryan Williams-Jenkins, the deep return man, takes the touchback. We'll take a break. 31-17. Rutgers has stormed Annapolis and owns this lead with 6:20 to go in the third. Gators under 10 points per game against those top 5 teams.
Brian Jones on Inside College Football called for the Gators to upset Alabama.
Will Muschamp,
Hell of a guess if it happens.
Survived Kentucky in triple overtime, and Crimson Tide team that you think needs some time to still learn what it is.
Well, normally when you change the amount of bodies as they have, especially on the defensive side of the ball, you're going to have some moments. But they've got Cooper, they've got Yeldon, they've got Henry on the offensive side, an effective quarterback.
Navy's got the ball and a significant deficit. Pitch goes out to Dyshawn Romine. It's enveloped by 3 different Scarlet Knights. There's a down Scarlet Knight near the hash at around the 30-yard line. Kenneth Kirksey, one of the starting interior linemen, the senior out of Daytona Beach, Florida. who only played the first 3 games last year, had a season-ending triceps injury. Slow to get up.
Yeah, you play in that nose tackle position, you can get caught in some funny spots. I don't mean funny ha-ha. He's right there, 95. He's getting drilled backwards. He goes backwards. Then they cut block him, and when they cut block him, that's when he has his problem.
The Rutgers walking wounded today. Let me correct myself. That was Joffrey Whiteside of the carry. Kirksey putting far more weight on his feet than his teammates have when they've been aided off the field today.
Looks like it might have scared him more than hurt him. D linemen don't like people down around their legs. I mean, that's messing with their money. That's messing with their future. They'll usually go down pretty quick.
So next man up for Rutgers. 2nd and 8 for Navy. Off the play fake, Reynolds flushed by Hamilton. Hamilton coming. This pass tipped. And incomplete.
Very end, just flips it. I don't know, was he out of bounds or was that foot in?
Claus knocks it in the air. You only need 1 foot in the college game. Navy's quick to the line. They get the play off. Pitch right. So about the 30.
Well, we mentioned a little bit that Rutgers plays with 3 safeties instead of 2 and 1 less linebacker. Linebacker has the ball, which was Reynolds. Then on the pitch, you're left with the safety on the inside and the corner on the outside. They're doing an excellent job of accounting for all 3 phases of this option and making it halting at best.
Pablo Beltran to punt. Jadarian Grant, the return man. Great hang time. Grant calling fair catch, makes it at his own 29. So a 41-yard punt. Not the drive the midshipmen would have wanted. Rutgers has the ball and the lead, 31. Let's flash on back December 11th, 2010. Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, the city of brotherly love. And Ricky Dobbs showing some love, 77 yards deep to John Howe, made it 10-zip Navy. Wyatt Middleton, then a 98-yard fumble return. Rumble, stumble, 24-7 Navy. Midshipmen go on to win it 31-17. Take a look at this week's Where Are They Now? Brought to you by Bass Pro Shops. Wyatt Middleton, a Navy safety from 07 to 2010. Currently deployed, serving on board the USS Sterrett. He's one of the greats all time for Buddy Green's defense. And for more, let's go down to the sidelines and she and Stanwick Birch.
That's right, John. In our meetings, Buddy Green recalled such great memories when we brought up Wyatt's name. He told us that he made more wow factor plays than he can remember, and actually he just was watching him on tape as they prepared for Rutgers. Green watched the 2010 Maryland Navy game because current Rutgers offensive coordinator Ralph Friesen was the head coach at Maryland at the time. Green said Wyatt was one of the most solid guys that has come through this program and as good as it gets when talking about leadership. And as you know, that means a lot coming from this Naval Academy program.
Thank you so much. Indeed, leadership taught daily here in Annapolis. So to display that above and beyond even your teammates says quite a bit. Justin Goodwin, the deep man for Gary Nova. Quick drop, the pump fake. John Simmis brings it in, gets to around the 38-yard line. Brendan Clements with the tackle.
Nice execution there by Rutgers in spite of some pretty good defense by Navy. I mean, Navy was right there. It's just Nova threw that ball in the perfect spot to get his completion.
Ralph Friesen, his name mentioned, the first-year offensive coordinator for Rutgers, lured out of retirement. Actually lured out twice as they go on the ground to Justin Goodwin. Not a whole lot to about the 40. Jordan Drake on the tackle. That could be good for a first down. Indeed, they'll move the chains. Ralph Friesen was nearly with this Rutgers team last year. Armed Forces football, proudly sponsored by Golden Corral. First and 10 for Rutgers, up 31-17. To the edge. A couple. William Sweeter taking down Goodwin. The Phrygian turned down the opportunity, though, last year. He said he originally gave a yes, and then he realized he had a daughter's wedding that he dropped a ton of money into in October.
That'll do it.
He said, I got to pull back. And then the chance comes up again. Ron Prince goes to the NFL, takes the OC job with the Detroit Lions. Kyle Flood calls again. He said it wasn't a slam dunk. He had to think about it, but decided to come on back.
He's a football guy. Football guys always come back.
Goodwin to the backfield. Back to the 40. Paul Quesenberry, the senior out of Carlsbad, California, got back there with first contact. Jordan Drake helped him out.
Penetration, specifically by Sarah in the middle, destroys the play. Quisenberry gets his own version of the penetration, but it's Sarah's initial penetration, takes away the cutback, leads him right into the linebacker.
Rutgers 5 of 8 on third downs. This is third and a long 10. They go empty backfield here. Haven't seen that much from Ralph Phrygian's offense. Nova give it a chance. Nova, pressured flag comes out after the stiff arm. Threading the needle, incomplete.
That's holding all the way.
Will Anthony flushed him in the backfield. And indeed, this penalty goes against the Scarlet Knights.
Holding, offense number 77. As penalties decline, fourth down.
That's the right tackle, J.J. Denman. That's the one spot they rotate a bit between Denman and Taj Alexander.
It occurred a little bit earlier. Got a nice tug on the jersey of the Navy defenders as they were escaping. That side judge got a beautiful view looking back in, and he and the umpire, he and the referee.
So here's the punt. Send Gleason's ball to Parrish Gaines, retreating. Makes a fair catch inside of the 10. So a long field to go for Navy after that.
To the offensive side to see what they can get going here, backed up.
Chris Swain, the fullback, bullying his way to around the 20. Anthony Chaffee, the sophomore quarterback, run over, first down, 12-yard gain.
Sounds like a hit. Yeah, that's nice. Swain in that fullback position. You're going to get too conscious of that quarterback. You're going to sprint out of there. A guy like Swain will make you pay.
First down for Navy. At the 20. A fake to the fullback and pitch on the edge. Nearly another 10, right around the 30. Ryan Williams-Jenkins got outside. Anthony Chaffee got the tackle. That is another first down, gain of 10.
So here's an example of a triple option that's giving you some trouble. They've creased you on the outside. They've used speed on the outside. They've gotten you in the inside with the fullback. To get the full effect of this option, you need a big long run or 10-yard run by the quarterback, Keenan Reynolds.
He's also gone deep in the pass game a handful of times. Reynolds keeping. Reynolds taken down on high by Steve Longa, the weak side linebacker.
Only 7, didn't get 10.
Solid run by this QB. You've been clairvoyant today, and how about this? You don't see this kind of balance all that often from Navy. Last time this occurred was against San Jose State. That was the last home loss. Of course, the next week, Keenan Reynolds comes off the bench due to injury, ignites a fourth quarter comeback and a win against Air Force. He's been the starter ever since. Navy hasn't lost at home since. 10th longest home win streak in the country. Inside underneath, Tonio Gully. Comes right around the 40. That is good for a first down.
If that happened a little quicker than you were expecting, that's one of the wings on the outside with a little underneath handoff. Those wings just come zipping inside, hits the defense quick, and they can gain 3-4 yards before you know it.
And the Amantalolo's offense, 10 yards shy of midfield. Toss to the right sideline, free football. Flag down, Joffrey Whiteside. Taken down by Quentin Gauze. And that was an offside against Rutgers.
Offside, defense number 93. That penalty's declined. Result of the play is second down.
Dwani Mara at the end spot.
Well, they gave it to Dwani Mara. Sure as heck looked like it was more inside on that. Looked like more was Darrell Stevenson that was offside.
Quentin Singleton, the deep fullback. Got to get to midfield. Reynolds decides to pitch. Loose ball near the sideline. And it looks like Navy holds on to this one.
Yeah, for those of us that played high school football, you always had the one coach who talked about mobile, hostile, mobile, agile, and hostile. That describes Lorenzo Waters right there as safety. That's how he plays, and you're looking at him before you're looking at the ball. That means you know you got a guy that can hit you.
Reynolds tripped up by his own man with the football in hand, and that's a loss of yardage to the 46. Noah Copeland took out his quarterback.
Remember we talked about this team has to be perfect. Doesn't always have to be a turning over the ball not to be perfect or a penalty. Stop yourself.
4th and 4 seconds ticking away on the quarter.
I would expect him to punt here.
And the quarter comes to a close. End of the third. 31-17. Rutgers leading Navy. You're watching college football right here on CBS Sports Network. Some of the sights and sounds of the day. The midshipmen still pumped up. 2-touchdown game. The second quarter decisively taken by the Scarlet Knights. We have a 31-17 contest as we have fourth quarter play about to get underway. The last double-digit comeback for Navy, 2010 against SMU. That happens in part, Randy, because Navy's not down a whole lot.
Yeah, I mean, 14 points in a quarter is not a big deal. That's why I say in this situation, and this is all predicated on being down 14. You punt here, you don't get goofy and try something like a fake. You hold them, get a score, and then suddenly it's a 7-point game. You got about 10 minutes to go, and it's anybody's ball game.
Janarian Grant, the return man. Pablo Beltran, the punt. His boot in the air. Grant calls for fair catch and makes it at his own 18-yard line. Today's first down and 10 line brought to you by Golden Corral. (31-17). The Rutgers the lead, and now the ball. Desmond Peoples, the deep man. Gets the ball left side. It gets to about the 25-yard line. Quazell Bertrand gets yet another tackle.
I've said it a lot today. Watch the blockers in the white jerseys. A lot of white jerseys. They stay on the blue jerseys that are the defenders. Sounds simple, Sounds actually just the most basic thing in the world. Well, that's because it is. And that's basically the game plan of Rutgers. Go basic, go Stone Age, and just pound them.
On the ground, the hunters and gatherers around the 27. Obi Uzoma, Daniel Cortez combined to take down Peoples. More time ticking away.
Now 3rd and short. Now we're going to see how they handle Buddy Green's defense. You might have a slant. You might have them going into a play, anticipating a sneak or a quick fullback run. Or they really go out of the box and throw a pass.
5 of 9 on 3rd down. They go to Peoples, who leaps into a pile and gets the first. That's a plunge to the 29. Move the chains. Bernard Sarah was in there on contact.
But you had a chance in contact. But as we've seen so much these last 2.5 quarters, Rutgers comes into the line, comes into a bunch of players, into a line. Bertrand gets a nice smack on him, but where does he fall? He falls forward.
And forward progress moves those chains. Early stage, 4th quarter. This direction play fake. Nova on the edge, completes it to around the 40, caught by John Simmis, the sophomore to Bergen Catholic.
At the 40-yard line.
Fake goes this way. Pass is going to come all the way around here for the throw. Nice fake by Nova. That holds the linebackers. Good game plan. Good design by Ralph Friedgen.
He draws some very pretty lines, by the way.
It's a computer. I can't claim credit.
On the ground for a couple. Quazo Bertrand in there yet again. Bertrand's been all over the place at that rover safety position.
2nd down, 8.
Whether it's been inside runs or outside in the passing game, he's made some very impactful hits. I mean, figuratively and literally. But this is where this Navy defense needs to bow up and stop him right now for Buddy Green and the midshipmen. They need a stop.
Second and 8. On the ground, makes 2 men miss, and Peoples falls forward to around the 47-yard line. Jordan Drake on the tackle. Here's a 3rd down and 3.
You're going to see a blitz come up from up here. You're going to see penetration from here. Running back just goes in the hole, goes just inside him, and gets his yards. Great little hop, jump, step right there to avoid an unblocked man and get those positive yards.
A crowd of 33,655. Nova to throw. And the quick strike gets the first. He connects with Leonte Carew, his former high school buddy, who led the team in catches entering today to the 45.
Leonte Carew, not the fastest guy in the world, but look at those hands. Boy, if you're a young receiver, that is what catching a football is. Out away from your body, you just snatch that thing out of the air. Don't let it get into your body where it could bounce off. That's a pretty classic catch.
8-yard gain, now in Navy territory. Put it on the ground, why not? Peoples hit from behind. Patrick Forrestall, the backup at that nose guard position, gained to around the 41, gain of 4. This Rutgers team entered the day 84th in the country, averaging 145 yards on the ground. It seemed like they had that by the time the 3rd drive was coming to a close.
Yeah, they have mindfully come into this game for 2 goals. One was to run the ball methodically and pretty viciously, to be honest with you. And 2 was to snub this running game of Navy. So far, it's been mission accomplished.
Peoples again. To the 37, gain of 4. Chris Johnson, senior out of Cape Coral, Florida, on the tackle. This Rutgers team playing its penultimate non-conference game, has Tulane on tap next week, and then plunges back into Big Ten play.
That's going to be a strange experience for Coach Flood and the Scarlet Knights. It's got to be. Seeing all these Big Ten teams going to these new houses, gigantic stadiums, you know, between the Big House and the Horseshoe and some of the others in the Big Ten.
3rd and 2. Peoples running over Obi Uzoma inside of the 35. That's good for another first down.
Yeah, this Rutgers running game after a while starts kind of resembling remember the old battering rams you'd see in the old medieval movies? They'd be holding them and they'd be banging in the gates and eventually they'd break down the gates. Well, Coach Flood's running game for his football team from the very beginning has been that battering ram. And they have softened up this Navy defense.
Justin Goodwin, Desmond Peoples, the now injured Paul James. They have been the hammers dropped. On the ground. Obi Uzoma in there on the hit again. Gain of about a yard, and Rutgers has just pounded it out on the ground. Shades of the Schiano days in Chopping Wood.
Well, whether it was James who fumbled first time he handled the ball, or any of the other 2 running backs that have been in since he came out, they've all gotten unbelievable blocking up front from Lumpkin and Johnson and Bujari and Muller and Alexander. They've been mauling people.
Out to the edge, up the middle. The gashes have been wide and plentiful. On the ground. All the way to the 25-yard line. William Tweeter on the contact there.
And this not only can tend to demoralize the defense when you start pounding at it again like this, but I mean, look at the clock. By the time the next play is run, it's going to be under 8 minutes to go in this 4th quarter. They just keep chomping up just eating this time up. And right now, time to Buddy Green and Ken Niumatalolo. It is not their friend down 14 points.
Single back on 3rd and 1. Nova keeps it. That push from the line has been there most of the day. This could depend upon the spot. It's right around the inside of the 25-yard line.
They're going to spot him past the 25-yard line, his initial surge. Both officials, especially the one at the top of the screen, came in and gave him a pretty good spot.
See if we can get another look.
Nova came out of that pile limping a little bit.
And they say he is short.
There you go. That is the first pile that's gone to a draw or has gone backwards in quite a while. Good job by that Navy D.
Navy calls timeout. We'll take one. 31-17. Rutgers the lead, facing 4th down when we come back.
Game's a great game when you're the age of those 2 kids right there, though.
Gorgeous day in Annapolis. Perfect day so far for Kyle Federico, who's 5 of 6 on field goal tries on the year. Bit of a high snap in this boot from 43. No good. A critical miss.
There you go. There's a turnover on downs. You ate up a lot of time if you're Rutgers, but 7-11 left. You're down 14. Does Navy have the chops this year to handle this? Because this miss sets them up. Is coming up with Ole Miss, LSU, and A&M, Texas A&M. So if they're going to be getting better, they better get better quick.
Today's 1st and 10 line brought to you by Golden Corral. Navy has to get a couple of scores after a field goal miss from 43 by Rutgers. Off the play fake, Reynolds, backside pressure, zips it, caught. That's a first down at around the 39-yard line. Brought in by Jameer Tillman, tackled by Garib Flashin.
Nice job by Reynolds running to throw. scrambling into the pocket, stepping up into the pocket, avoiding the rush coming from the backside. Braden Heaps having a little bit of a problem there at left tackle.
After a 14-yard completion, they zip it out again, this time to Tillman left side. As he makes the catch at around the 44. Anthony Chaffee, the sophomore quarterback, wrapped him up.
So, if you can do this effectively as they've done in a couple of drives today, this makes this triple option a whole different thing to start handling. If you start throwing the ball effectively like this, things can get ugly quick.
2nd and 6. Fake the dive. Reynolds keeps. Doesn't have much, but finds a few yards. Weaves his way to around the 47-yard line. Gain of 3. Dwani Mera tackled. So here is a 3rd down. It's truly 4-down territory at this point, though, right?
Oh, it is. It is for them, especially at this part of the field.
Reynolds to throw. Wide open target, caught in stride. Racing down the sideline inside of the 20. Noah Copeland, the fullback, brings it in. Steve Longa brings him down. And Navy inside of the Rutgers 15-yard line, a 39-yard connection.
Wait a minute, so I'm supposed to worry about the fullback, the trailing back, and the passing game? That can get kind of ugly if you start doing this like this. Keenan Reynolds, great poise, excellent accuracy, and good hands for a fullback by Copeland.
Play fake. Reynolds looking to throw again on the edge of the end zone, dropped by the spinning Thomas Wilson.
On the cross, trying to get him right on the goal line. Just short, just threw that one just a little bit behind the receiver. That's throwing it right back into the defensive back. That's a dangerous throw. Otherwise, he had his guy wide open.
2nd and 10. Play fake again. Is this opposite day? Low and incomplete. Looking for the slot back, Joffrey Whiteside. Rutgers has done it on the ground, and Navy has gone to the air. Keenan Reynolds knows that was an opportunity.
That's on him. Keenan will know when he watches that tape. He knows he got it to where he could grab it, but that ball should have been higher and should have hit him on the run.
3rd and 10 to the edge. Reynolds to the end zone. Touchdown! Brendan Dudek, his 2nd TD of the year.
How about using about a minute off the clock? 5 minutes and 26 seconds to go. What a beautiful block out front, knocking the rusher off his feet completely. That sets Reynolds up to get the corner and find Dudek in the back of the end zone wide open.
First passing touchdown of the year for Keenan Reynolds, and his 2nd career game with over 200 yards in the air. The extra point good. And we've got a touchdown game. Keenan Reynolds to the air. Tremendous faith from OC Ivan Jasper to Brendan Dudek, the senior out of Hamilton Square, New Jersey. Reynolds and company with it a score. Drive engineered by Keenan Reynolds, who's had a huge day in the air.
Yep, just perfect as far as passing goes. Spot on by Keenan Reynolds. Got some great blocking up front to buy him that time. But that was all the junior quarterback. The man that can beat you with his feet and with his arm.
14-yard TD to Dudek. 11 of 19 passing, the 6th most completions in the Ken Niumatalolo era. And his 2nd career 200-yard passing game. They've had to do that. They've been down to multiple scores. Janarian Grant takes a knee. So here's Navy with a couple of timeouts. Rutgers has 3, a touchdown game with 5:26 to go, Randy. And this Rutgers team has been so good on the ground, eating time. What are you looking for on both sides?
Well, this is a part of the field, whether you played for Bill Walsh or Bill Parcells or Tom Coughlin or Bill Belichick. this is the clock part of the game. The 4-minute offense, the 5-minute offense in this case. Running backs stay in bounds. Don't get dumb penalties. Keep the clock moving and just keep piling up first downs.
On the ground, Justin Goodwin to around the 27-yard line. Worth noting, Gary Nova had 5 picks last week, 2 yes on tip balls, but 5 interceptions. He hasn't been called upon to do much. What he has been asked to do, he's done well.
Very effectively and very accurately. It's been a fine effort by him. And now if you can get this offense for Rutgers past the 50 here, and the clock under 3 minutes, you're gonna force Ken Niumatalolo and company to start using their timeouts. You're not going to snap the ball until the play clock's at 1. They've got 3 timeouts, so right now Rutgers is going to stay in the huddle. They're going to call a timeout, and they're just going to eat that time off the clock right there.
So timeout called by Kyle Flood, the Iona graduate. A 7-point difference. The midshipman excited. The last time these teams met, 2008, it was the last meeting in Annapolis. Rutgers' Jordan Brooks, 12-yard touchdown run. Rutgers led 21-20 with 7:38 to play. But Matt Harmon of Navy hit a 24-yard field goal, a 23-21 lead with 2:06 left, and that would go final as Navy got the only win it's had in the last 5 meetings with Rutgers.
Buddy Green was here, as was most of his coaching staff.
Out of the timeout. On the ground, Goodwin keeps on churning those legs. Pounds his way to the 35. Quazell Bertrand on the tackle. See where the spot is.
Inside with this pit look. Contact on the blockers. They're driving. The legs drive. That's some pretty nice execution. The clock is running, and Buddy Green's defense needs a helmet on a ball. They need an arm inside the ball, and they need to rip something loose right here.
The spot has it just short of that needed 35. They've gone the Nova over center a few times today. They go on the ground. Navy gets some penetration. Did they stop it? They get the stop depending upon this spot, but it certainly looks like it's exactly where that snap came thanks to Quincy Adams.
4th and about a foot. Look at the surge. The surge is all on the Navy side. The penetration on the Navy side. Defensively, beautiful job by Jordan Drake, who caused the initial turnover in this game.
Rutgers 0 for its last 3 on 3rd down. Parrish Gaines, the return man. Tim Gleason, the Australian, gets the punt off. Gaines lets it bound. Out of bounds at around the 26-yard line. Navy with 3 minutes, 12 seconds to go. Down a score, has the ball. And we have that drive. 2 touchdowns, down a score with the ball. The last time that Navy roared back from a double-digit second-half deficit, 2010 against SMU. That was a 28-21 final. Navy has not lost at home since September 29th of 2012 to San Jose State. The next week, a young man named Keenan Reynolds became the quarterback. Wins have piled since. Noah Copeland chugging on 1st down to around the 31. That's a gain of 5. Steve Longa on the tackle. And here's Navy with 2 timeouts.
Reynolds having a heck of a game throwing the ball, but Navy right now has like 153 yards rushing. That's like 250 yards below their normal, but they have to run it here. Eat some clock and score.
Here's the pitch. Joffrey right side. That's a 1st down, out of bounds at around the 42. Gain of 11.
Nothing but pure speed. We've seen that a lot. How about the block on the outside by Dudek? Inside the frame. Hands inside.
They fake to the fullback. Reynolds on the keeper. Over midfield. Navigates out of bounds. That's another first down to the Rutgers 47.
So if you're Navy now, you're thinking about how do you score. Keenan Reynolds has to be aware of the clock. Has to be aware you get past the 50, you have to start using up time and start thinking about if you score, how much time will Rutgers have when you get the ball back.
Reynolds, the maestro, the engineer, to the 40, gain of 7.
Back-to-back plays where Keenan Reynolds has come off the edge, and where today it seems like every time he's done that, there have been 2 defenders to meet him right there and that have contacted him. Last 2 plays, perfect blocking, no defenders, great adjustment by Ivan Jasper and company to get their quarterback free in this spot.
Navy preaches perfection. Off the play fake, pump fake, pressure comes, hit the backfield, a flag is out.
Probably going to be holding against Navy.
Darius Hamilton got to him.
Personal foul. Hands to the face. Defense, number 91.
There you go.
15 yards from the previous
Hands to the face.
Automatic first down.
The star defensive tackle, Darius Hamilton, whose dad, Keith, known as the Hammer, spent a dozen years with the Giants.
Working against Ben, 57. Look at his left hand right up in the chops. Great call by the official.
All the way to the Rutgers 25-yard line.
Minute 54 to go.
Reynolds, backside pressure, ball free, and he falls upon it. Was he going back in a throwing motion? David Maluski came in the back door.
Well, Maluski gets him, and Reynolds never sees him. Comes across clean, 90, gets him in the arm. That ball is not moving forward. That's clearly a fumble. That ball wasn't even all the way back before he cocked it back to throw the ball.
So that's back to the 32. It forces Navy to exhaust a timeout here, Randy. 1 left with 1:38 remaining in this 4th quarter. What are you looking for here on a 2nd down?
That's plenty of time. I mean, you know, I think if you're Coach Flood and the defense for Rutgers, pretty simple. You need a disruptive play. You need to put them in 2nd and even longer, or 3rd and even longer. If you're Navy, make up that last loss. Get yourself caught up with the chains a little bit.
Spotted at about the 33, so called it a loss of 8. That means 2nd and 18.
Successful will be a 10-yard gain here from Navy. I would set him up with about a 3rd and 7.
Keenan Reynolds has been brilliant out of the pistol look. Quick strike, finds his man in stride. Calvin Cass Jr. out of Sicklerville, New Jersey, his first catch of the season, all the way to the 16.
Setting up a 3rd and 1, a short one at that.
They've run a lot of play fake, but with this much time, do you dare risk that here?
Everything's working for him in the passing game. Why not?
Reynolds to the edge, keeps it, has the first, inside the 10. Swallowed up just shy of the 5 by Garif Glashin. First down and goal.
Well, we haven't seen a counter reaction by the Scarlet Knight defense. They haven't closed up that hole. Good job inside. There's no inside-out pursuit. No linebacker, no safety taking Reynolds out, as we've seen numerous times today. And he's running free.
10-yard gallop now from the 6. Reynolds with a blocking holding. Goes end zone, nearly picked off. In and out of the hands. Garif Glashin, the 5th-year senior out of Miami, Florida. Wow, that's a near miss.
Right there.
Oh.
Nice job by Jameer Tillman getting that left hand in there and breaking that up. Otherwise, that ball ends up right in the armpit of Glashin.
Reynolds only has 4 career interceptions. None this season. 47 seconds, 1 timeout, 2nd and goal. Play fake. Pressure coming, and he's sacked. They caved the entire far side, and Andre Hunt, who's worked into that safety rotation after DeLon Stevenson went out with injury, got to him.
Well, we've seen Maluski on this drive coming off that edge, steaming off the edge. Now watch Maluski. He comes inside, then the defensive back comes outside on the blitz. Inside goes the end. The blitz is on the outside. Keenan Reynolds never sees that blitzer coming on the outside. He can just protect the ball, go down, and play for the next down.
So that's a loss of more than 10. You need end zone here, and you have no timeouts left. 42 seconds remaining. It's third down, Randy. What are we looking for?
Pretty simple. Well, for this offense, the way they run most effectively, I would say, you know, the ball is on the left hash mark. You've got some kind of a rolling to the right play. It's either starts as a roll to the right, or he drops straight back to pass and then scrambles to the right. I'd get the heck away from Maluski and company on that defensive right side, your left. Roll away from it and try to hit a crossing pattern back behind it in the end zone or just short of the end zone, setting up a fourth down.
Reynolds, pocket collapsing again from that far side. His zigzag doesn't get much as he's knocked out of the 20. 34 seconds and rolling. They need to get a playoff here. They need end zone.
Plenty of time. Don't have to rush. Don't have to hurry. This is just the ball game.
4th and goal from the 20. And Rutgers calls timeout.
Second charge, timeout, Rutgers.
Surprised to see that?
You're lucky because Navy was about to jump offside. It would have been 5 yards further back.
Joe Rossi has talked about how versatile his defense is, how they can hide what they do in terms of blitzing and pressuring. Are they doing that at all here?
Well, Ben is just getting beat one-on-one. That's been the problem, either at left guard or left tackle. They've been getting beat in the one-on-one matchups, and Ben couldn't quite hold up. Keenan Reynolds tries to come back to the left, but that's where the pressure has been. I've just got to think you have to intentionally have a play designed to go to the right. Get away from what that pressure is coming on your left.
It was Komoko Toure. They call him the Komoko Dragon. Led the team in sacks entering today. Led the state of New Jersey in sacks as a senior. Here's a unique look. Only 3 men on the line. Everyone else in the checkered end zone. Reynolds loading up for the chance to tie it. A jump ball. And incomplete. Looking for Jameer Tillman. Could not connect. 31-24.
Out of bounds. A little confusing here with the checkerboard and end zone. The white line looks like part of the end zone, but it's not. The cone is the end of the end zone. He catches the ball. That right foot comes down, but the right foot comes down about a foot away. He manages to bring in the ball. He does come down with it on the ground, but it's well after he's out of bounds.
And so, Ken Niumatalolo's team that has not lost at home since September 29th, 2012. That was a shutout to San Jose State. Sees Rutgers in victory formation. Gary Nova, after 5 picks a week ago and a loss to Penn State, gets the win. Kyle Flood at Rutgers. 5 wins in 6 meetings against Navy. Here is the Northrop Grumman aerial performance of the game. That is what Rutgers was able to do on the ground. One of the best showings ever on the ground against Navy by any team.
And it's the entire running game gets this award, which usually means we don't have a back that got 300, so we can't give it to the line. Let's say it's the whole rushing game. The rushing game deserved it.
(31-24) the final. The Rutgers Scarlet Knights go to 3-1. Navy falls to 2-2. This Rutgers team that has Tulane coming up next week and then dives right back into Big Ten play. Home against Michigan, at Ohio State, while Navy has Western Kentucky coming to town. And then takes on Air Force out in Colorado Springs. So the tradition with the team making its way over toward the rest of the midship.
Of the Navy blue and gold.
The alma mater, the United States Naval Academy, and there's Gary Nova, the first two-time captain for the Rutgers Scarlet Knights since Mike Teal, who now coaches with this Rutgers team, and a man who ranks top 10 amongst active quarterbacks in passing yardage and touchdowns. More facilitator today, handing it off to his running backs, but a win's a win for the QB as we send it down to the field with Sheehan Stedwick Birch.
Thanks, John. Well, Gary, you guys had a lot of success against a Navy team that's given other teams a lot of problems. What was the key today?
I think running the ball. I think we did a good job running the ball, moving the chain, staying on the field. Obviously, with the offense they run, they're going to take a lot of time off the clock, so we knew we had to get points early in the game, and we did that.
You personally, as a quarterback, is going to get a lot of criticism and the glory. Last week, you threw 5 interceptions. Today, you rebounded. What was the difference this week?
I think, just trying to get better every day. I think the offense did a great job. We were executing. We just had a good week of practice, came out here and executed.
As you look forward to the season in the Big Ten, what are the goals for the remainder of the year?
Just be 1-0 every week. Beat a great Navy team at home. They haven't lost at home in, I think, 2 years, which is great for us. And we got Tulane next week, so we got to be ready to be 1-0 against them.
Thanks for your time. Enjoy the win.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
And that is Gary Nova, the senior out of Elmwood Park, New Jersey, at Don Bosco Prep. He was 24-0 as a starter. And he gets a big win for his Rutgers team today, a 31-24 Rutgers victory. American flag flies. Scarlet Knights win the last scheduled meeting between these two teams. For Randy Cross, Sheehan Stedwick Birch, and our entire crew, I'm John Sadak. This has been a presentation of CBS Sports Network, the 24-hour home of CBS Sports. A touchdown difference in Annapolis as Rutgers exacts the win. And right now we send it back to our CBS Sports Network studios in New York City.